Hello everyone. Now let us look into the topic electronegativity. It is one of the very basic topic in chemistry which everyone must be knowing. Now let us look what is the definition of electronegativity. It is a tendency of an atom to attract shared pair of electron in covalent bond. Here two things are very much important. One is shared pair of electron, another one is covalent bond. There must be covalent bond between two atoms. If covalent bond is there, it is obvious that the electrons are shared, because covalent bond is nothing but it is formed by sharing of electron. Now see the example of this HCl. In HCl you can find two electrons which is present here. Let us consider chlorine is taking up the two electrons towards itself. If it is taking the or attracting the electron, it is attracting the electron towards itself. If it is attracting, it will gain partial negative charge. Whereas hydrogen, it is giving the electron and it will gain partial positive charge. Now from this you can tell that it is a tendency of the atom to attract. Here chlorine is attracting, so chlorine is more electronegative than hydrogen. That is what I have mentioned here. Chlorine is more electronegative than hydrogen. So hydrogen will be lesser electronegative element than chlorine, and electronegativity is a relative property which says that since it is a relative property, it has no unit. Fine, I think you have understood what actually is this electronegativity. Now let us look into the differences between electronegativity and electron affinity. You have studied in your PU classes and also in the lower classes. Electron affinity is nothing but the amount of energy released when an electron is added to valence shell of neutral isolated gaseous atom. Here in electron affinity, one atom is considered. So in isolated atom, whereas in electronegativity, two atoms are considered because it is defined on covalent bond. There must be two atoms present. Another one is, as we have seen in the definition of electronegativity, it attracts electron. It is a tendency of an atom to attract the electron, whereas in electron affinity, it accepts the electron. Now let us take the example of fluorine for electronegativity. Fluorine actually attracts the electron, but it will not accept easily because of its smaller size. Whereas here, if you take the example of chlorine, it will attract the electron and then accept it. So that is the difference between electron affinity and electronegativity. One more difference is it is the absolute value. Electron affinity is having the unit, that is electron volt per atom or kilojoule per mole, whereas electronegativity is a relative value, it is unitless. Now let us look into some of the factors which are affecting electronegativity. One is the size of atom. I have mentioned here electronegativity is inversely proportional to the size. Now consider two atoms, one is of smaller size, another is of bigger size. Both the atoms are having nucleus in the center. Okay. Now take one electron here, let another electron be here. Two electrons are present and you have one smaller sized atom and another one is larger sized atom. Which atom will attract the electron faster? It is smaller sized one or the larger sized one? It is obviously the smaller sized one. Why? Because the positively charged nucleus which is present in the center of the atom is very much close to the electron, so it will attract very easily and very readily, whereas here the distance between the nucleus and the electron is very large, so it doesn't attract that fast how the smaller atom is attracting. So we can say electronegativity is inversely proportional to size of the atom. Next, nuclear charge. For nuclear charge, I have written electronegativity is directly proportional to Z. Now let us consider one small atom and another larger atom which is having only two charges. Here it is having many positive charge. Now consider two electrons. Which atom will attract the electron very easily? It is the larger sized one. not larger size, you have to tell it as the atom which is having more number of positive ions. Here only lesser number of positive ions are there, here more number of positive ions are there. So this will be attracted very easily. Positive ions are nothing but the protons. Okay, protons. So protons, it is nothing but atomic number, so I have mentioned it as Z here. So electronegativity is directly proportional to Z, that is atomic number, which is nothing but the number of protons. Next, let us go to the charge on the cation. Now consider the example Fe2 plus and another one is Fe3 plus. Tell me which will attract the electron very readily. This is having 3 positive ions, whereas this is having only 2 positive ions. As I have mentioned in the previous slide, that is about the nuclear charge. As the number of positive ions increases, that is number of protons or the atomic number increases, electronegativity also increases. Here you can find there are 3 positive charge, so it will attract the electron which is having negative charge very fast. So electronegativity is directly proportional to positive charge on the cation. Now let us look into charge on the anion. Now consider the example. Let me write it here. N minus, N2 minus, another one is N3 minus. Now think yourself which will attract the electron very fast. Instead of looking into attraction, go in the opposite way, that is a repulsion. Here you have negative ions, 3 negative ions are present, negative charge is present. Will this negative charge again attract the electron which is having the negative charge? Never. So here repulsion is more. Here repulsion is a bit lesser and here attraction is dominating the repulsion. When you consider these 3 examples, we can tell this is attracting very readily than this and this is attracting very readily than this. So electronegativity is inversely proportional to the negative charge on the anion. Next is hybridization, that is as a percentage of S character increases, electronegativity also increases. We have Sp, Sp2, Sp3 and Sp, DSP2, all those are there. If you take Sp, here you can tell 50% of S character is present. Okay. If you take Sp2, in Sp2 33.3% of S character is present. If you take Sp3, it is 25% of S character is present. As a percentage of S character increases, electronegativity also increases. So Sp is having more electronegative value than Sp2 than Sp3. Among this, Sp3 is having least electronegative value. Next, let us look into the trends in periodic table. As we move in the period, as we move from left to right, what happens? The size of the atom decreases. As we move from left to right, size of the atom decreases. When the size of atom decreases, as we have seen in the factors affecting electronegativity increases. Size and electronegativity are always inversely proportional. So as we move from left to right, size of the atom decreases and electronegativity increases. In the group, when we move down the group, what happens? Here it is vice versa of the period. Size of the atom increases and electronegativity decreases. As the size of atom increases, the nucleus will not readily attract the electron towards itself as it is doing in the smaller size. So it is inversely proportional. You can tell electronegativity value decreases. Fine, this is a trend in periodic table. Now we are looking into the scales for measuring electronegativity. There are 2 scales from which we can measure electronegativity. One is Pauling scale, another one is Mulliken scale. Pauling scale, according to Pauling, he has given a formula XA, that is electronegativity of A minus electronegativity of B is equal to 0.208 into square root of bond energy of A minus B minus square root of bond energy of A into bond energy of B. Okay, electronegativity of A, this one is electronegativity of A, this is electronegativity of B, which is equal to 0.208 square root of bond energy between A and B minus square root of bond energy between A and bond energy between B and B. This formula is used when the units is kilocalories per mole. Okay, if in the question if you have got the unit in kilojoule per mole, you have to change this value as 0.1017. Fine. If it is given in kilocalories per mole, this formula is used. If it is given in kilojoules per mole, you have to change 0.208 into 0.1017. Rest all the things are as usual, or else you can do it in another way also using the same formula. This formula itself you can convert. As you know, 1 calorie is equal to 4.182 joules. Using this formula you can convert and then solve the answers. Okay, next let us go to Mulliken scale. According to Mulliken, he said that electronegativity is nothing but it is the average of ionization energy and electron affinity. Okay, electronegativity is the average of ionization energy and electron affinity. Now let us go for the applications, some of the applications of electronegativity. First one is nomenclature of binary compounds. Here I have written some of the electronegative values of some elements. One is hydrogen 2.1, chlorine 3, phosphorus 2.1, bromine 2.8 and iodine it is 2.5. And now in nomenclature of binary compound, electronegativity plays a major role. How we can give the names for some of the ionic compounds? Let me tell you. Here you have hydrogen chloride, okay, HCl. You write it as hydrogen chloride but not as chlorohydride. Why it is so? It is because consider here hydrogen is having its electronegativity value as 2.1. Okay, chlorine is having its electronegativity value as 3. It is greater than this 2.1. So the element which is having electronegative value greater, it will be written at the end and it should end with the suffix IDE. Okay, hydrogen chloride. It is not chlorohydride but it is hydrogen chloride. In the same way, BrCl, bromochloride. Why? Bromine is having 2.8 whereas chlorine is having 3. It is greater. The next one, iodobromide. Why it is not written as bromoiodide? Because iodine is having electronegative value lesser than this bromine. It is 2.5 whereas bromine is 2.8. Fine with this nomenclature of binary compound. Now let us move on to the bond strength. In bond strength, you must know the electronegativity difference between the two atoms. Here you have hydrogen and fluorine. Hydrogen, as I have said, it is 2.1. Fluorine, I have not mentioned here. Fluorine is having electronegativity value as 4. Okay, fluorine is having 4. 4 minus 2.1, it is 1.7 for hydrogen fluoride. Next one is HCl. What about H? 2.1. Chlorine is having 3. 3 minus 2.1, it is nothing but 0.9. What about HBr? H is having 2.1, whereas Br is having 2.8. 2.8 minus 2.1, it is 0.7. Okay, next is Hi. Hydrogen is having 2.1, iodine is having 2.5. 2.5 minus 2.1 is nothing but 0.4. Okay, bond strength is directly proportional to electronegativity difference. Here you have difference between hydrogen and fluorine, hydrogen and chlorine, hydrogen and bromine, hydrogen and iodine. Electronegativity difference is in this order, increasing in this order. so bond strength also increases in the same order. Hydrogen fluorine is having more bond strength than hydrogen chlorine than hydrogen iodine. Okay, I think you have understood this. Bond strength is directly proportional to electronegativity difference. Okay, it is directly proportional to electronegativity difference. Next is electronegativity, its application in the percentage of ionic character. Here HCl, as I have given the example in the beginning, we know that it is covalent bond which is existing between H and Cl. Now as I have said, if Cl takes up or attracts the electron towards itself, it gains partial negative charge and hydrogen gains partial positive charge. So when this negative and positive, this polarity is coming into existence, we can tell that it is having some ionic character. Okay, we can tell that it is having some ionic character. So electronegativity difference is directly proportional to ionic character. That is, as electronegativity difference increases, ionic character also increases. Okay, electronegativity difference increases, ionic character also increases. Here you can see one question: find the electronegative percentage of ionic character of hydrogen fluoride. How can you find the percentage? There is a formula for this. Let me write the formula first. Okay, formula is percentage of ionic character in covalent bond is equal to 16 into delta X plus 3.5 into delta X square. Okay, 16 into delta X plus 3.5 into delta X square. This is a formula to find percentage of ionic character in the covalent bond. Delta X is nothing but it is equal to electronegativity of A minus electronegativity of B. Electronegativity we represent it as psi also. So electronegativity of A minus electronegativity of B is delta X. Okay. Now let us solve the problem which is given here. Find the percentage of ionic character of hydrogen fluoride. As you know, what is the electronegativity of hydrogen? It is 2.1 and fluorine it is 4. So first to find this delta X value. Delta X is equal to 4 minus 2.1, that is nothing but 1.9. Okay, you got this value. Now let us solve the problem. Percentage of ionic character of hydrogen fluoride is equal to 16 into 1.9 plus 3.5 into 1.9 whole square. Okay, this is a problem. If you solve, it will be approximately equal to 43%. Okay, percentage of ionic character in hydrogen fluoride is 43%. In this, one thing you have to remember is this formula. Another is, as electronegativity difference increases, percentage of ionic character also increases. Now let us go for the next application, that is metallic and non-metallic character. If the electronegativity value is higher, it will be non-metal. What is the speciality of this non-metal? It will attract the electron. If the electronegativity is low, it will be the metal, because a metal will not attract but it releases the electron. Metals will release the electron, whereas non-metals, they will attract the electron. Next is about acid and bases. Now consider two acids and one base. One is NaOH, which is a base, another is nitric acid, and another one is sulfuric acid. First let me write NaOH here, NaOH. Okay. Now nitric acid. How will you write nitric acid? N. Here you have a double bond O. Here you have another O with the negative charge. Here you have positive charge for this. OH. and one H. This is nitric acid. Now let us write sulfuric acid. How will you write sulfuric acid? S double bond O, double bond O, O H, O H. Okay, this is sulfuric acid. Here you say it gives OH minus, here it gives H plus, here it gives H plus. Okay, this is base, you tell it as base. This you call it as, since it is nitric acid, you call it as acid. Even this you call it as acid. Why do you say this is an acid and it gives H plus? This is a base, it gives OH minus. On what basis can you tell this? Here in electronegativity, by the by the term of electronegativity also you can tell how it is an acid, how it is a base, why it is giving OH, why this is giving H plus ion. Okay, consider, you know, this is a metal and here you find nitrogen and sulfur or non-metals. Metal is giving OH minus, whereas non-metals hydrogen and sulfur are giving H plus and acting as a acid. By this you can understand non-metals give H plus and they act as acid, whereas metals they give OH minus and they act as base here. That is one criteria or one of the application of electronegativity. Fine, I think you have understood everything. This is a small summary part, whatever we have discussed just now. One is introduction. We have discussed about the definition of electronegativity, which is nothing but the tendency of an atom or an element to attract shared pair of electrons which is present in the covalent bond. We have given the example of HCl, and we know that electronegativity is a relative quantity which is unitless. Then we have seen factors affecting electronegativity. One is the size, that is, we know size is inversely proportional to electronegativity. Another factor which we saw is nuclear charge, which is directly proportional to electronegativity. This is nuclear charge, which is nothing but the number of protons, that is atomic number. Another is charge on the cation. Charge on the cation is directly proportional to electronegativity. As a positive charge on the cation increases, electronegativity value also increases. Another one is charge on anion. Electronegativity is inversely proportional to charge on anion. As a charge on anion, negative charge increases, electronegativity decreases. Next is hybridization. As a number of S character, as a percentage of S character increases, electronegativity value also increases. Next we have seen the trends in periodic table. What happens as we move from left to right in the period? As we move left to right in the period, size decreases, so electronegativity value increases. Okay, as we move down the group, size increases, so electronegativity value decreases. It is vice versa. Next we have seen the scales for measuring electronegativity. One is Pauling scale, another one is Mulliken scale. Next we have seen the applications. One is in the nomenclature, where I have said the more electronegative element must be written at the last with the suffix IDE. Okay, next is we have seen about the bond strength. As the electronegativity difference between the two atoms or the electronegativity difference in the molecule increases, its bond strength also increases. Next we have seen about percentage of ionic character. As a polarity or we have seen, since in HCl there is a polarity existing, it shows, although it is a covalent bond, it shows some sort of ionic character. So we have calculated the percentage of ionic character which is present in the covalent bond. We have seen the formula for that, and also as ionic character or the percentage of ionic character increases, electronegativity difference also increases. Next we have seen the metallic and non-metallic character. As electronegativity is higher, it attracts electron, right? As electronegativity is higher, it attracts electron, so it acts as non-metal. Okay, when the electronegativity is lesser or electronegativity value is low, it releases the electron, it doesn't attract and it acts as metal. Okay, next we have seen the acid and bases, how we can tell a molecule or a compound is an acid or it is a base. Why does it give OH minus ion and why does it give H plus ion? All those things we have seen. Okay, I think you're clear with the topic electronegativity. Fine, in the next video I'll be sharing some more basic topics of chemistry. Okay, thank you for watching.